He's come to alternate between the World Health Organization and China on the question of culpability, arguing that alleged misinformation from Beijing led to a world in lockdown and a United States with the highest infections and deaths by far.
We're looking at exactly where it came from, who it came from, how it happened, separately and also scientifically. So we're going to be able to find out.
And my question is, have you seen anything at this point that gives you a high degree of confidence that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was the origin of this virus?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
But this statement from the intelligence community says otherwise, that it concurs with a wide scientific consensus that COVID-19 was not man-made or genetically modified. They continue to examine emerging information to determine if the outbreak began through contact with infected animals or as a result of an accident at a laboratory in Wuhan. The president asked about talk in his administration of punishing China, including withholding its debt obligations to Beijing.
When you start playing that game, you're really hurting the sanctity, the importance of the greatest currency on earth. But we can do it in other ways. We can do it with tariffs. We can do it other ways even beyond that, without having to play that game. That's a rough game.
China hit back, arguing there was neither a legal basis nor precedent for punishing a certain country for what it called a natural disaster.
The COVID-19 is a natural disaster. China, like the US, is a victim of the virus. The victims share the same destiny and should work together to overcome the difficulties. The US should know that its enemy is the virus, not China. At this particular time, they should focus on domestic epidemic control and international anti-epidemic cooperation, rather than attack, smear, and shift the blame to China.
The virus has infected more than 3.3 million people globally, with close to 250,000 people dead, while the economic burden of restrictions will have painful consequences for months to come.
It is obvious that there is a lack of leadership. It is obvious the international community is divided in a moment where it would be more important than ever to be united. There is indeed a problem of leadership, or if you want, a disconnect between leadership and power. We see remarkable examples of leadership, but they are usually not associated with power. And where we see power, we sometimes do not see the necessary leadership. I hope this will be overcome sooner rather than later.
And while the two giants fight, more bleak projections on the horizon. A group of pandemic experts with the University of Minnesota have released a new report showing that the coronavirus will likely continue spreading for the next 18 months to 2 years, infecting between 60 and 70% of the world population, while people will continue to die. The Center for Infectious Disease Research Policy also says risk communication from governments should now include the concept that the pandemic will not be over soon. Sherwin Riceby's SABC News, New York.